Okay, so I completed my disability simulation on Saturday, October 14th from 12 to 8, and yes, I really did wake up at noon because this program makes me sleep in really late. I actually had to stay at my parents' house to complete the assignment because my house is only 400 square feet, and I did a run through Thursday when I brought the equipment home just to see if I could maneuver around in my house, and it wasn't I could have done it, but it would have been very limiting, and um, I would have had to move a bunch of stuff, so I just decided to go over there to make it a little easier. There was more room to kind of propel. So I stayed over there. My mom was the one that assisted me. Um, so I used the half bath to do like my sink bath and everything because that was the only sink that I could get to easy enough and that I could reach. Um, so yeah. Um, but it was very weird to not like get a shower. The half bath doesn't really have, I mean, it literally just has a sink and a toilet in it. There's no really counter space room to really put like makeup and other stuff in it. So that's something that I would definitely consider like for doing like a home mod to like make sure that they have a sink that has especially if they're a woman, like with makeup and all the beauty products and stuff, like making sure that they have enough room to put this stuff that's easily accessible. And I couldn't even use the mirror because the mirror was too high. I couldn't even see myself. So that's definitely a consideration that I would consider. So, what else? I prepared my house. My mom and dad's house. I didn't really have to prepare too much because their cabinets and stuff are pretty low to where I could reach them. Well, their food pantry, I guess I should say, because I had to have assistance to get plates down when I made dinner. I tried to make dinner, and I definitely had to do some maneuvering around because I couldn't reach the kitchen sink to stand, and obviously I couldn't stand. I couldn't wash the potatoes that I was making. So luckily there was a strainer in the dishwasher that I could easily reach, and I put the potatoes in the strainer and had to go to that half bath sink that I could reach to rinse them off and wash them so I could cook them. Their kitchen table was awesome. I just pulled the chair away. It was the perfect height for me. I got a cutting board and a knife. That was the only thing I really had to like set out. That way I didn't hurt myself trying to get the knife off of the counter. Um, but other than that, I could reach everything. I couldn't reach the plates. But that was pretty much it. The stove I actually had a hard time because I couldn't reach to turn the knobs on the stove. But I could put my pot and stuff on the burners easily and safely. Actually, also put something else in the oven. And at my mom and dad's house, they have an oven that has two in it, and it's like the really small one on top, and then the big one below it. And the small one on top was perfect. It was the perfect height. It was safe for me to get stuff in and out. Um, so I would definitely recommend one of those for sure. the whole time I was doing it, I felt mad. Like, I was aggravated that I couldn't just stand up and do something. Like, when I couldn't reach, like, to turn the knobs on the stove, or I couldn't just stand up and wash the potatoes. I was mad, like, that I couldn't do that. Or, like, getting in and out of the car because the car was too high. Like, I was just mad that I just couldn't move on my own. And I can definitely see why this population is frustrated and, mad at the world for a little while, because I was definitely upset that I just could not move on my own. So I went to Walmart, and I went to a dollar store, and I went grocery shopping with my mom, and she asked me if she wanted me for her to push me, and I was like, no, I want to see how this goes. Well, literally not even 5 minutes into it, my shoulders were burning. Um, I I couldn't believe that I fatigued so quickly. So energy conservation would definitely be something that I would address with this population. Um, People in Walmart were very, like, polite, which I don't know why I expected anything different. I thought that I would get, like, stares and stuff like that, but I didn't. People, I mean, would look at me, but if they were in the way, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll get out," and they'd jump right out of the way. Or like this man and wife were there, and the wife was kind of in my way, and he was like, "Honey, get out of her way!" Like, really kind of rushing her along, like, I don't know, like it was some crime to be in front of me. But I got like, I didn't think really people looked at me any different, except that they were very, like, um nice in the way that they made sure that I had plenty of room and stuff like that to get around in the aisle. I think the most enlightening part of this whole experience was me doing the cleaning in the house and cooking and going grocery shopping. Like, my mom, she would tell me what was on her list, and then I would go and try and find it, and I would just, like, there was these specific lasagna noodles that she wanted, and there were normal, other lasagna noodles that I could reach, but the ones that she wanted were on the very top shelf. And she just looked at me and she goes, "Well, if this were to really happen to you, what would you do?" And I was like, "Well, I guess I would bring a reacher and try and reach it, or I could ask somebody in the store." But as from an OT standpoint, I would definitely make sure that I was addressing going grocery shopping, for your specific brands that you like, and in your preferred store, just to make sure that you can reach things and what you can do if you can't reach them and stuff like that, because that was, I never thought about it. And then another thing was, I was noticing more things that were on the bottom shelf. I wasn't looking at the things that were at the top shelf. I was pointing things out that were on, like, the lower two shelves, which I didn't even notice until my mom pointed out, and I was like, "Yep, I sure am. I'm just looking at the lower shelves. I wasn't even paying attention." And that's something that I might not have saw if I hadn't done this experience, because I'd be walking and stuff, and I would be at a different eye level. Let's see. So when I was in the parking lot, Walmart was fine. The parking lot was fine, but I went to the dollar store after that, and the dollar store kind of sits up on a hill anyway. So when I was actually going in the store, I was kind of rolling downhill. Like, I was veering off to the right, and I found it really hard because I felt like I was going uphill. And then if I even paused to even take a break, my wheelchair would start to veer, and it was really hard. So I actually had to have my mom push me in to the store. And then when I came out of the store, it had been raining, so the parking lot was a little wet, and when I would try and go to turn, like, the wheels would kind of not slide like in a dangerous way, but just they didn't have any much traction on them. And so the same thing with the downhill. I would try and go back to the car, and my wheelchair would veer off to the left, and it was just really hard and frustrating. But that was really the only thing that was I found difficult, like, in the community mobility aspect. I did not ride public transportation because there really is none in my area, not even an Uber. There is a service, it's called Catch a Ride, and it's through a company called Lifetime Resources. And I actually looked into trying to get on there, but in order to set up your appointment for them to pick you up, you have to, like, set up an account and everything, and I wasn't going to do that. And it even said that you had to have a disability to ride on there, and I think there was, like, an age limit as well, because mostly older people take that. It's $2 for anywhere between 1 to 5 miles, and then it tacks on another 25 cents for every quarter of a mile or a mile that you go over that radius. But they will pick you up from your house, and then they'll drop you off wherever you need to go. But that's really the only option that we have in this area, unfortunately, for anybody with disabilities to take. Yeah, so overall, it was a good experience. It was eye-opening for sure, and it made me look at things in a whole different light, and it makes me feel more confident when I graduate and I have a client that has paraplegia or some other kind of disability, to where I can give them what I've learned from this experience, like what to do when you're cleaning your house, or when you go grocery shopping, make sure you have these things. Or I can offer, like, a tray to put on their wheelchair to put stuff on while they're trying to make dinner, going to and from places. So I think it was a good experience overall, and I'm glad that I did it.